What's going on, Dolph fans? It is your boy Dillon, and I'm here to do my video for free agent running backs, potential targets for the Dolphins. Like I said, there is going to be a little redundancy from yesterday's video, although I'm not going to go through Philip Lindsay and Duke Johnson, all their numbers and stuff like that, their career statistics, because I did it yesterday, so check out that video. But it will be up in here. You will be able to see it, so there is that. Before I get to it, though, couple of interesting points that I'd like to mention from, the press conference that was done today. Chris Grier did a press conference or whatever, so mention a couple quick things there. One being that he apparently shut the door on a Deshaun Watson trade. Those were his words. The door is shut. So I love to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. And I hope that remains true because I do want to see them pursue continue with Tua. I'd like to see them stick with him, and I'd like to see them actually build around him so that way he can live up to his potential. Interesting side note, I found out today that him and I share birthdays. So happy birthday to Tua. It is his birthday today. It is also mine. We happen to share birthdays. So that's a fun little bit of information for you. Anyway, so the other stuff that I wanted to mention from that, though, is he said that they are trying to get Ogba back. They would like to have Ogba. They have had discussions with his agent, so hopefully they can find a way to make that work. He said that there have been more discussions with his agent than with Mike Gesicki's agent. And apparently Mike McDaniel was actually gushing about Trey McBride, one of the tight ends from this draft. So we'll see how all that plays out. But it is interesting bits of information, right? And then also, too, there's, word out today that they are discussing contract extensions or, adjustments, whatever, to Xavier Howard's contract. And Chris Grier expects that he will be a Miami Dolphin this upcoming season. So again, hopefully that is true, and we'll just have to wait and see how all that plays out. But little bits of information that, are hopefully good, nuggets that we can take from, right? And hopefully stuff that plays out in the Dolphins' favor. Obviously, I'd love to see Howard remain here. I'd love to see Ogba remain here. Those are two guys that, if we don't have them for whatever reason, it does change our defense quite significantly. So, hopefully they can get that wrapped up. I also would like to see them keep Gesicki, although there has been talk that there's potential they could franchise tag him. So, although it hasn't been done yet. So, again, we'll have to wait and see how all that plays out. But anyway, let's go ahead now and move on to the actual point of this video, which is my breakdown of potential targets for the Dolphins when it comes to free agent running backs. So, real quick before I do, as I usually do in these videos, I want to make sure to give you my position rankings. So right here, by need, offensive line is number 1 with tackles superseding center. And I don't even have guards on the list because I think we're fine with the guys that we have. And if you address those other 3 spots, then the 2 tackle positions and center appropriately, you should be fine, which should be done in free agency. Then running back, wide receiver, linebacker being true middle, defensive line with edge, and then tackle, cornerback, tight end, safety, backup quarterback behind Tua, and then specialists, specifically punter. So there is that. Now let's go ahead and move into once this loads up, there we go. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at my potential targets for the Dolphins in free agency at running back if they want to go after a guy. Now, this first guy here, Melvin Gordon, who is currently in Denver. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's 29, $8 million current APY. Here's his measurables and all that stuff. I've seen reports that Denver wants him back, and he's, potentially going to stay in Denver, so maybe he won't even be available. Now, again, if you guys know my philosophy, which you should by now, I want to see them obviously address offensive line and free agency, as I've, mentioned. Get those tackles and get a center. I would love to see, you know, a dream scenario would be Terron Armstead at left tackle, Trent Brown at right tackle, and Ryan Jensen at center. Man, that would be a dream. But then that would free you up to, you know, take a running back in the first round or a first or second round, and it looks like we could get one of these top guys. As you can see here, Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller. Those are some of the guys on my list. I haven't gathered all of the information yet, obviously in part because Combine and Pro Day hasn't actually happened yet. Combine's getting ready to happen, right? Or is happening. So, you know, more on that later, but I think if you get one of those guys and then you re-sign Duke Johnson and Phillip Lindsay, maybe also keep, you know, Myles Gaskin, Jared Dokes, one of those guys, whatever, or, you know, both of those guys, I think you're pretty solid with the running back room, especially then if you improve the offensive line. But Melvin Gordon is a guy to look at. He was a round 1 pick, 15th overall in 2015, been in the league 7 years, started out with the then San Diego Chargers for the first couple of years. They obviously became the Los Angeles Chargers, so he's been with the Chargers since 15 to 19. Broncos from 2020 to present. Got 98 games, 88 started, 3,973 snaps, 567.6 per year, 1,477 attempts rushing with 211 per year, 6,144 yards, 878 per year. So pretty good production still even at this point. You know, getting a good 878 yards per year. I mean, God, if we had a running back that could get that kind of production, Jesus, right? 62.7 yards per game, 4.16 average, 53 touchdowns, 7.6 per year, and 63 10-plus yarders to his name for his career. Receiving, he's got 380 targets, 54 per year, 284 receptions, 41 per year with a 74.7 catch percentage. So he's been pretty solid there in the passing game as well. 2,244 yards, 321 per year, 22.9 per game with a 7.9 average, 14 touchdowns, 2 per year, and 6 20-plus yarders in that regard. His 2021 stats, 16 games played, 16 started, 514 snaps, 203 rushing attempts, 918 yards, 4.52 average with a 57.4 yards per game, and 8 touchdowns, 23 10-plus yarders. Receiving, he had 38 targets, 28 receptions, 73.7 catch percentage, 213 yards, 7.61 average, 13.3 per game, 2 touchdowns, and 3 20-plus yarders. He went to the Pro Bowl twice in 16 and 18. And his grades are as follows. In 2021, for his 514 snaps, a 77.8 overall, 83.4 rushing with a 52.9 receiving, 627 snaps in 2020, 72.5 overall, 83 rushing, 36.4 receiving. 2019, 433 snaps, 66 overall, 71.7 rushing, and a 50.7 receiving grade. In 2018, 592 snaps and 86.6 overall with a 90.6 rushing grade, 61.2 receiving, 750 snaps in 2017, 72.2 overall, 71.5 rushing, and a 71.7 receiving. 2016 had 661 snaps, 68.9 overall, 65.5 rushing, and a 70.9 receiving grade. On 396 snaps in his rookie season of 15. He had a 54.6 overall, 51.9 rushing, and a 66.4 receiving. All right, now we move to David Johnson. Another solid veteran, but again, you know how I would handle it. So honestly, and the funny thing is, like, I'm making this video, but the only free agents that I would really do anything with are, you know, Duke Johnson and Phillip Lindsay. So the rest of these guys, I wouldn't even, like, do your due diligence, see what's going on, see what the price would be, blah, blah, blah. But if it was me, I would just sign Duke Johnson, Phillip Lindsay, and then get one of those running backs in the draft. He is an unrestricted free agent, 31, $5 million current APY. Here's his measurables and combine stats, scores. He was a round 3 pick and 86th overall in 2015, 7 years in the league. Started out with the Cardinals from 15 to 19, then went to the Texans from 2020 to present. Has 87 career games, 63 started, 3,476 snaps, 496.6 per year. He's got 995 rushing attempts, 142 per year, 4,047 yards, 578 per year, 46.5 per game, and 4.07 per touch. 39 touchdowns, 5.6 per year, 29 10-plus yarders. He's got 397 targets, 57 per year, 273 receptions, 39 per year, 68.8 catch percentage, 2,758 total yards, 394 per year, 31.7 per game, and 10.1 per touch. That's actually damn good, right? When it comes to, but, you know, obviously he's a running back, so, you know, it's just a complementary piece to his skill set, as is with all running backs. Anyway, 18 touchdowns, 2.6 per year, and 11 20-plus yarders. His 2021 stats had 13 games, 4 started, 317 snaps, 67 rushing attempts for 228 yards, 3.4 average, 17.5 per game. Man, I'm such a stickler for things being exactly right and uniform that I'm going to have to switch this up. Anyway, because I'm super OCD about shit like that. And 3 10-plus yarders. He had 42 targets receiving and 32 receptions with a 76.2 catch percentage, 225 yards. Man, same thing here, huh? His average is 7.03 and 17.3 yards per game with 1 touchdown. He did make the Pro Bowl in 2016 as well as All-Pro, and he did get Offensive Rookie of the Year 4th place in 2015, so he was in the running. Obviously didn't get it, but he was in the running. I know some people are like, well, if he didn't win it, why bother saying it? Because I just find it interesting. It is information, and he was being talked about for it. He was also being talked about for Offensive Player of the Year in 2016, but he did make it. He only made it to 3rd place. His grades are as follows in 2021. On those 317 snaps, he has a 60.4 overall, 56.3 rushing, and a 70.6 receiving. 551 snaps in 2020, a 62... No, actually that was supposed to be yellow. That's my bad. Anyway, 62.9 overall, 72.8 rushing, 45.5 receiving. 2019, 445 snaps, 72.2 overall, 68.9 rushing, 74.5 receiving. 2018, 749 snaps, 64.1 overall, 63.2 rushing, and a 60.4 receiving. 2017, his worst year, had 46 snaps, obviously didn't play very much, but wasn't graded out very well, a 40.9 overall, 39.8 rushing, and a 38.8 receiving. 2016, 897 snaps. This was his best year, obviously not just graded, but made it to the Pro Bowl, was an All-Pro, 897 snaps, 79.9 overall, 68.3 rushing, and a 90 overall receiving grade. Which is an elite mark, obviously. 2015 snaps, he had 471, 72.8 overall, 73.5 rushing, and a 67.4 receiving. And then, of course, here's Phillip Lindsay. Like I said, I'm not actually going to read through all of this because I did go through this yesterday in my video when I was doing my deep dive of the Dolphins' current running backs. And as you guys know, I'd like to see them re-sign him. I will just scroll through this, though, obviously, so that way it's here in the video and you guys can take a look at it. But no reason to go through reading all of this again. Same thing with Duke Johnson here. I want to see them re-sign these two guys, give them, even if it's like a 2-year deal or something like that, or even a 1-year deal. Just give them a contract extension, give them a contract for this year, keep them in Miami, because I think that they are a good base, and then go ahead and draft, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, or Isaiah Spiller in the 2nd round with the 50th overall pick. And that's how I'd like to see it handled. So there you have it. Those are those two guys. And so we will move on to Tampa Bay's Leonard Fournette, who is an unrestricted free agent at 27 with a current APY of $3.25 million. Here's his measurables, combine scores. He was a round 1 pick, 4th overall in 2017. 5 years in the league, started out with Jacksonville from 17 to 19. Has been with the Bucs from 2020 to present. 63 games played, 52 started, 3,125 snaps, 625 per year, 943 rushing attempts, 188.6 per year, 3,810 yards, 762 per year, 60.5 per game, 4.04 average with 31 touchdowns, 6.2 per year, and 52 10-plus yarders. Receiving, he's got 305 targets, 61 per year, 239 receptions, 47.8 per year with a 78.4 catch percentage, 1,696 yards, 339.2 per year, 26.9 per game, and a 7.1 average 4 touchdowns, 0.8 per year, and 5 20 plus yarders to his career. 2021 stats: 14 games, 13 started, 685 snaps, 180 rushing attempts for 812 yards, 58 per game, 4.51 average with 8 touchdowns and 15 10 plus yarders. Receiving, he had 84 targets, 69 receptions, and 82.1 catch percentage. Obviously has been productive as well in the receiving game, especially recently. 454 yards, 32.4 per game, 6.58 average with 2 touchdowns and 1 20-plus yarder. And he is a Super Bowl champion, obviously, from the 2020 season when the Bucs won Super Bowl 55. His Pro Football Focus grades: 2021, he had 685 snaps, 73.9 overall, 79.2 rushing, and a 62.9 receiving. On 587 snaps in 2020, he had a 59.8 overall, 64.6 rushing, 56.7 receiving. 918 snaps in 2019, a 64 overall, 65.2 rushing, 65.4 receiving. 280 snaps in 2018, a 70.9 overall, 68.7 rushing, 77.8 receiving. 2017, he had 655 snaps, 65.4 overall, 62.2 rushing, and a 75.9 receiving. All right, now that moves us on to Seattle's Rashad Penny. He is a younger option here as an unrestricted free agent with a $2,691,359 current APY. Here are his measurables and combine scores. He was a round 1 pick, 27th overall in 2018, 4 years in the league, all with the Seattle Seahawks. Career stats: he's got 37 games played, 6 started, 628 snaps, 157 per year. Obviously hasn't gotten a ton of usage, so, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, it's funny because, I'm just thinking, the reason why I'm going through all this stuff is because you really just don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what they're thinking, who they're looking at, and you try and be as, just try and cover as much ground as possible, right? And you definitely like to do your due diligence and stuff. And, obviously, I can have the way that I would want to do it, right? Re-sign Phillip Lindsay, Duke Johnson, and then get one of those running backs. But it might not happen this way. So you do look for other options and look for ways that you can, improve the team. And so even though for me, this is not how I would do it, it is good to look at all these other players because you never know if they will end up going after one of these guys, right? So he has 280 rushing attempts, 70 per year, 1,500, and, see what they can get out of a guy like this. He's shown some potential and stuff, but hasn't had a ton of usage, but, maybe we could get more out of him. 1,572 total yards, 393 per year, 42.5 per game with a 5.61 average, 11 touchdowns, 2.75 per year with 27 10-plus yarders. Receiving, he's got 31 targets, 7.75 per year, 23 receptions, 5.75 per year, with a 74.2 catch percentage, 206 yards, 51.5 per year, 5.6 per game, and an 8.96 average, 1 touchdown, which is 0.25 per year, and 2 20-plus yarders. In 2021, he had 10 games played, 6 started, 253 snaps, did set some career highs, though. Set or match some career highs. Rushing, he had 119 attempts, 749 yards, 74.9 per game, 6.29 average, 6 touchdowns, and 19 10-plus yarders. So, showing some improvement, right? And especially, too, when you look at his grades, even got a elite rushing grade. But anyway, real quick, let's throw in the receiving. He had 8 targets, 6 receptions, 75 catch percentage, 48 yards, 4.8 per game, 8 average, and 1 20-plus yarder. And for his grades in 2021 on 253 snaps, he had an 80.5 overall, 83.7 rushing, 49.5 receiving. Only had 38 snaps in 2020, 55.6 overall. Just go ahead and even take that out. 55.6 overall, 57.8 rushing, 152 snaps in 2019, 74.6 overall, 70.3 rushing, and an 80 receiving. 185 snaps in 2018. He had a 63 overall, 65.4 rushing, and a 45.3 receiving. Marlon Mack out of Indianapolis is our next candidate here, potential candidate. He's 26, another cheap option Another cheap and relatively young option, $2 million current APY. Measurables, combine scores, draft status. He was a 4th-round pick at 143 overall from 2017. 5 years in the league, all with the Colts. 47 games played, 23 started, 1,428 snaps, 285.6 per year. He's got 567 rushing attempts, 113.4 per year, 2,484 yards, 496.8 yards per year, 52.9 per game, 4.38 average, 20 touchdowns, and 4 touchdowns per year, 33 10-plus yarders. And real quick, like, all these guys that are on the list, even though I personally wouldn't play it like this, and you know how I would, like, all of these guys are guys that are intriguing and certainly, like, you know, for one reason or another, a potential, you know, fit or whatever. And, you know, I may not be super high, like Melvin Gordon, for example, like, he was obviously, like, you know, a big hype early on in his career, but I've never been, like, a huge Melvin Gordon fan, but, like, if they did decide to bring him in, I'd be cool with it, and, you know, I could see why and everything like that. So, you know, they're on this list for a reason, is what I'm saying. So, receiving, Rashad Penny, because we're still on Marlon Mack, 84 targets, 16.8 per year, 57 receptions, 11.4 per year, 67.9 catch percentage, 448 yards, 89.6 per year, 9.5 per game with a 7.86 average, 2 touchdowns, which is 0.4 per year. He's got 6 games played in 2021, didn't start any with only 59 snaps. Perhaps he got injured. I don't know. Obviously, he didn't have a lot of snaps in 2020 either. 28 rushing attempts, 101 yards, 16.8 per game, 3.61 average with 4 10-plus yarders. And receiving, he had 5 targets, 2 receptions, 40 catch percentage, 8 yards, 1.3 per game, 4 average. Obviously, didn't have a very good 2021 or a 2020 for that matter, although his grades were better that year. But, you know, it is what it is. And like I said, I wish I tried to get, you know, injury information for all these players, but unfortunately it's pretty difficult to find, and you'd have to, like, piece it together by going through, like, all the different articles that you could find of, like, people writing about it and stuff when it happened, and that's a ton of work, and unfortunately I didn't have time for all of that because the rest of this was already a ton of work, and the rest of this information held precedence. So anyway, 2021, he had those 59 snaps, 56.4 overall, 55.6 rushing, 57.8 receiving. In 2020, he had 11 snaps, 72.6 overall, 69.3 rushing, 76.2 receiving. In 2019, on 517 snaps, 69.5 overall, 74.1 rushing, 43.5 receiving. And it looks like that's the area where he tends to struggle the most in. So, not as proficient in the receiving game. 2018, 531 snaps, 68.6 overall, 75.2 rushing, 32.3 receiving. And in his rookie year, 2017, 310 snaps, 68 overall, 72.8 rushing, and a 53.8 receiving. Now we go to another Tampa Bay running back who is an unrestricted free agent at the age of 25, Ronald Jones. He has an APY of $1,767,982. Here are his measurables, what he did post at the combine. I would assume that he got hurt because he didn't do very much while he was there. But draft status, he was a round 2 pick, 38th overall in 2018. 4 years in the league, all with the Bucks. 55 games played, 25 started, 1,240 snaps, 310 per year, 488 rushing attempts, 122 per year, 2,174 yards, 543.5 per year, 39.5 per game, 4.45 average, 18 touchdowns with 4.5 per year, and 49 10-plus yarders. Receiving, he's got 104 targets, 26 per year, 76 receptions, 19 per year, 73.1 catch percentage, 571 yards, 142.75 yards per year, 10.4 per game, 7.51 average with 1 touchdown, 0.25 per year, and 4 20-plus yarders. In 2021, he had 16 games played, only 3 started, 219 snaps, 101 rushing attempts for 428 yards, 4.24 average, 26.8 per game, 4 touchdowns, and 8 10-plus yarders. Receiving, he had 13 targets, 10 receptions, a 76.9 catch percentage, 64 yards, 6.4 per game, and 4 excuse me. Man, why is this shit all like out of fucking order? Anyway, 4 yards per game, 6.4 average, and then obviously he's also a Super Bowl champion from Super Bowl 55 in 2020. On those 219 snaps this past year, he had a 62.3 overall, 67.6 rushing, and a 55.3 receiving grade. 509 snaps in 2020, 73.6 overall, 85 rushing, 29.6 receiving. 422 snaps in 2019, 67.6 overall, 69.9 rushing, 59.8 receiving. And 90 snaps in 2018 got him a 48.8 overall, 52.4 rushing, and a 41.5 receiving grade. Now we move on to Darrell Williams from the Kansas City Chiefs as an unrestricted free agent. He's 27, 1.6 million. Current APY, here are his measurables, combine scores, pro day stats, etc. He was undrafted in 2018, 4 years in the league, all with the Chiefs so far. 51 career games, 7 started, 1,193 snaps, 298.25 per year, 237 rushing attempts, 59.25 per year, 912 yards, 228 per year, 17.9 per game, and 3.85 average, 10 touchdowns, 2.5 per year with 21 10-plus yarders. Receiving, he has 105 targets, 26.25 per year, 83 receptions, 20.75 per year with a 79 catch percentage, 762 yards, 190.5 per year with 14.9 per game, 9.18 average, 4 touchdowns, 1 per year, and 6 20-plus yarders. He did set or match a lot. Pretty much every category he set or matched career bests, though, in 2021 with 17 games played, 7 started, 578 snaps, 144 rushing attempts with 558 yards, 32.8 per game, 3.88 average, 6 touchdowns, and 13 10-plus yarders. With some receiving bests as well, 57 targets, 47 receptions, 82.5 catch percentage. And the only reason why that wasn't a career best is because I'm pretty sure like his first year or whatever, he caught every pass that was thrown to him, but it was like a handful of passes total. Anyway, 452 yards, 26.6 per game, 9.62 average, 2 touchdowns, and 4 20-plus yarders. And he is a Super Bowl champion from 2019, Super Bowl 54. And his Pro Football Focus grades on the 578 snaps, and this was his best graded year as well. 67.1 overall, 67.3 rushing, 66.4 receiving. In 2020, he had 391 snaps with a 61 overall, 65.8. That's weird. Why would I have put that as orange? That's way off. Anyway, 65.8 rushing and 65.8 receiving on 178 snaps in 2019, 63.5 overall, 62.6 rushing, 62.4 receiving, and his 46 snaps of 2018 have him a 73.7 overall, 73.8 rushing, and a 64.9 receiving. All right. We now move on to Sony Michel from the Los Angeles Rams, currently anyway. He's an unrestricted free agent, 27 with a current APY of $2,406,674. Here are his measurables, combine scores. His draft status, obviously, he was a first-round pick, 31st overall in 2018. 4 years in the league, spent the first few with the New England Patriots, spent this past year with the Los Angeles Rams, and ironically enough, became a Super Bowl champion because of it. But he's got 55 career games, 35 started, 1,646 snaps, 411.5 per year. Obviously, he had a lot of struggles early on in his career. Who knows if he's going to stick with the Rams or not. Again, I mean, you know what my plan would be, so I wouldn't go after him. But again, due diligence, etc., etc. So 700, and that's why I, have all of these stats and information for all of these different players, because you got to do your due diligence. You got to look at them. You got to see where your options are. Rushing, he's got 743 attempts, 185.75 per year, 3,137 yards, 784.25 per year. Still getting some pretty good production though. 57 per game, 4.22 average, 18 touchdowns, 4.5 per year with 56 10-plus yarders. Pretty damn good production actually. Considering everything. Receiving 73 targets, 18.25 per year, 47 receptions, 11.75 per year, 64.4 catch percentage, 386 yards. Not as prolific in the passing game or the receiving game, but it is what it is. 96.5 yards per game. per year, excuse me, 7 per game, 8.21 average with 2 touchdowns, half a touchdown per year, and 3 20-plus yarders. In 2021, he had 17 games played, 7 started, 627 snaps, 208 rushing attempts for 845 yards, 49.7 per game, 4.06 average, with 4 touchdowns and 21 10-plus yarders. He had 33 targets, receiving, 21 receptions, 63.6 catch percentage, 128 yards, 7.5 per game, 6.1 average with 1 touchdown and 1 20-plus yarder. And he is actually a 2-time Super Bowl champion, though. Obviously, the first one being with the New England Patriots, Super Bowl 53 in 2018, and then became a Super Bowl champion again this year. Kind of lucky if you think about it. Just happened to go to the team that won the Super Bowl this year after he finally got traded away from the Patriots. Anyway, Super Bowl 56 champion in 2021. His grades are as follows: and 627 snaps in 2021, at 66.1 overall, 73.5 rushing, 44 receiving. 181 snaps in 2020, 80.9 overall, 76.5 rushing, 82.6 receiving. 446 snaps in 2019, 68 overall, 68.1 rushing, 47.3 receiving. 2018, he had 392 snaps, 75.8 overall, 74.9 rushing, and a 53.4 receiving. And as you can see, though, most of these guys are pretty young when it comes to the running backs, because who wants to get an old running back, really? And really, Duke Johnson is probably the oldest out of all of them, honestly. But Duke Johnson and Phillip Lindsay are the best we have, and certainly they're already in-house. You might as well just lock them up and keep them at least for the next year. Anyway, Chase Edmonds out of Arizona is up next. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's 26. He is quite cheap, only $728,089 is a current APY. Measurables, combine stats, a little bit of pro day for you. Draft status, he was round 4, 134 overall in 2018. 4 years in the league so far, all with the Cardinals. 57 games played, 15 started, 1,438 snaps, 359.5 per year. He's got 333 rushing attempts, 83.25 per year. 1,551 yards, 387.75 per year, 27.2 per game, and 4.66 average. 9 touchdowns, 2.25 per year with 38 10-plus yarders. He's got 164 receiving targets in his career, 41 per year, 128 receptions, 32 per year. 78 catch percentage, 921 yards, 230.25 per year, 16.2 per game, and 7.2 average, with 5 touchdowns, 1.25 per year, and 5 20-plus yarders. In 2021, he posted 12 games, 11 started, which was a career best, 504 snaps. Rushing, he set some career bests as well there. 116 attempts, 592 yards, 49.3 per game, 5.1 average, 2 touchdowns, and 18 10-plus yarders. Receiving, he had 53 targets, 43 receptions, and 81.1 catch percentage. Got some reliable hands on this guy. 311 yards, 25.9 yards per game, 7.23 average with 2 20-plus yarders. He also had, or his grades are as follows: 504 snaps this year, 67.9 overall, 73.5 rushing with a 61 receiving grade. 526 snaps in 2020, 69.2 overall, 62.6 rushing, 77 receiving. 209 snaps in 2019, 69.7 overall, 76.3 rushing, 54.1 receiving. 199 snaps in 2018, a 60.5 overall with a 60.3 rushing and a 65 receiving, all of which are not in their right colors. Anyway, and there you have it. We do have another Arizona running back, James Conner, who used to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course. Unrestricted free agent at 27. Again, I think Duke Johnson is the oldest at like 28, 29 or something like that, or maybe he's 30. But everyone else is like 26, 27 because, you want to bring in, running backs do tend to take a lot of beating and get a lot of wear and tear. And it's true that they don't last all that long, but... And part of the reason why I actually do like a little bit of, by committee, I like to have some guys, that's what I'm saying. If we get a Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, or Isaiah Spiller, I'd like to have Duke Johnson and Phillip Lindsay to switch it up, help confuse defenses, and give that, top guy a bit of a break. But anyway, here's measurables and stuff like that. He was a round 3 pick, 105 overall in 2017. 5 years in the league, 17 to 20 with the Steelers, 2021 to present with the Cardinals. 65 career games, 39 started, 2,365 snaps, 473 per year. He's got 734 attempts, 146.8 per year, 3,054 yards, 610.8 per year, 47 per game, and 4.16 average. 37 touchdowns, 7.4 per year, and 50 10-plus yarders. He's got 192 targets, 38.4 per year, 161 receptions, 32.2 per year, with an 83.9 catch percentage. Really reliable hands with this guy, though, huh? 1,338 yards. To his career, 267.6 per year, 20.6 per game, 8.31 average, 7 touchdowns, 1.4 per year with 9 20-plus yarders. 2021 stats. But, you know, we got guys like Myles Gaskin and Salvon Ahmed and some of these other guys who can be, you know, running backs out of the backfield and stuff like that. So not really a need for us, right? You know, catching the ball or whatever. 2021 stats, 15 games played, 6 started, 612 snaps, 202 rushing attempts, 752 yards, 50.1 per game, 3.72 average, with 15 touchdowns and 15 10-plus yarders. That did help earn him a 2021 Pro Bowl visit. He also made it in 2018. Receiving, he had 39 targets, 37 receptions, 94.9 catch percentage, 375 yards, 25 per game, 10.14 average, 3 touchdowns, and 5 20-plus yarders. His Pro Football Focus grades, and this was one of his better years for sure, had a pretty good year in 2019 as well. 612 snaps this year, 82.9 overall, 73.2 rushing, and an elite 86.2 receiving grade. 629 snaps last year, or well, 2020. 68 overall, 72 for rushing, 52.2 receiving, 335 snaps in 2019, 73. I guess James White's probably the oldest one on this list. Anyway, 73.6 overall, 66.8 rushing, 89.8 receiving, 721 snaps in 2018, 72.1 overall, 74.5 rushing, and a 60.8 receiving grade. 68 snaps in his rookie year. Got him a 70.7 overall, 72.5 rushing. And let's see, we are getting close to the end here. We got, 2 guys left. And the next one being a New England Patriot guy, James White, unrestricted free agent. Although, if he even stays in the league, if he keeps playing, he'll probably stay with the Patriots. And again, you know how I would handle it, so I wouldn't be bringing him in anyway. But due diligence, as always. He's 30 years old, $2,462,500 current APY. Not that expensive though, right? Measurables, combine scores. He was a round 4 pick, 130 overall in 2014. 8 years in the league, all with the Patriots. 95 games played, 13 started, 2,906 snaps, 363.25 per year. Obviously, he's, been a complimentary piece for them, bit of a, out of the backfield receiver and so on and so forth. So, was never really their bell cow back. Rushing, 319 attempts, 39.875 per year, 1,278 yards, 159.75 per year, 13.5 per game, 4.01 average. And obviously, for a lot of his career, they had Tom Brady as well. 11 touchdowns, 1.375 per year, 6 10-plus yarders. Oh, yeah, real quick. Another side note, bit of information that came out of the press conference. Apparently, they did try and talk to Sean Payton this offseason, or, to gauge if he was going to really retire, and maybe when they were doing their head coaching search. So the rumors about them going after Sean Payton, he was on my list as a pipe dream candidate. But they did actually, talk to him and try and gauge his interest and if he was going to retire. But they did shut down the rumors that they were also going after Brady. Anyway, receiving, he has 511 targets, 63.875 per year, 381 receptions, 47.25 per year, 74.6 catch percentage, 3,278 yards. Obviously, again, he's been used more as a receiving threat for them out of the backfield. 409.75 per year, 34.5 per game, 8.6 average, 25 touchdowns, 3.125 per year, and 15 20-plus yarders. He had 3 games played in 2021, 63 snaps. He had 10 rushing attempts, 38 yards, 12.7 per game, 3.8 average, 1 touchdown, 1 10-plus yarder. Receiving, 14 targets, 12 receptions, 85.7 catch percentage, 94 yards, 31.3 per game, 7.83 average with 2 20-plus yarders. As far as awards go, he was named to the New England Patriots All-Decade team. So congratulations to him. And of course, he is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, of course, all with the Patriots in 14, 16, and 18. Super Bowls 49, 51, and 53. He has Pro Football Focus grades as follows. 2021 on those 63 snaps, 78, and I'm pretty sure he did get hurt at some point this year, and that's why he didn't play much. 78.1 overall, 76.6 rushing, 82.2 receiving, 330 snaps in 2020, 65.5 overall, 58.2 rushing, 84.2 receiving. And he's got some elite grades pretty consistently in that regard, right? But again, that's been his main, role for the Patriots. 2019, 522 snaps, 76.1 overall, 65.5 rushing, 85.3 receiving, 671 snaps in 2018, 71 overall, 59.9 rushing, 83.8 receiving. 2017, 461 snaps, 68.1 overall, 55.9 rushing, 80.1 receiving. And 439 snaps in 2016. 68.6 overall, 53.5 rushing, 81.4 receiving. 2015, he had 389 snaps, 70.1 overall, 53.3 rushing, and an 86.2 receiving. And in his rookie season, he only had 31 snaps in 2014, 53.3 overall, 48.5 rushing, and a 63 receiving grade. All right, and finally, we wrap up our potential list of free agent targets with J.D. McKissic, who is currently with the Washington Commanders. He's an unrestricted free agent, 29 years of age, $1,635,000 current APY, measurables, pro day stats, draft status, undrafted out of the 2016 draft, 6 years in the league, started with the Falcons, but then went to the Seahawks, split time between those two teams. He was first brought in by the Falcons, then ended up going to the Seahawks, then the Seahawks from 27 to 2018, then 2019 with the Lions, and then the Seahawks again, and then 2020 to present, he's been with the Washington Redskins / football team / now Commanders. Career stats, 62 games played, 14 started, 1,602 snaps, 267 per year, rushing 221 attempts, 37 per year, 979 yards, 163.2 per year, 15.8 per game, 4.43 average, 4 touchdowns, 0.7 per year, 24 10-plus yarders. Receiving, he's got 254 targets, 42 per year, 193 receptions, 32.2 per year, with a 76% completion or catch percentage, 1,501 yards, 250.2 per year, 24.2 per game, 7.78 average, 7 touchdowns, 1.2 per year, and 20-plus yarders. 2021 stats, 11 games played, 3 started, 343 snaps, 48 rushing attempts, 212 yards, 19.3 per game, 4.42 average, 2 touchdowns with 6 10-plus yarders. Had also 53 targets, 43 receptions, 81.1 catch percentage, 397 yards, 36.1 yards per game, 9.23 average, 2 touchdowns, and 3 20-plus yarders. And finally, to wrap him up with his Pro Football grades, Pro Football Focus grades, 343 snaps this year, 69.5 overall, 63.2 rushing, 76.2 receiving, 679 snaps in 2020, 62.7 overall, 53.6 rushing, 69.1 receiving, 262 snaps in 2019, 72.4 overall, 69.6 rushing, and a 78.1 receiving. 15 snaps in 2018, 57.2 overall, 49.1 rushing, and a 70.6 receiving. And 2017, he had 296 snaps, 67.4 overall, 59.6 rushing, 75 receiving. And he only received 7 snaps in 2016, his rookie year, 57.9 overall, 59.5 rushing, and a 58.9 receiving grade. So, there you have it. There was quite a bit there, some big name veterans like Melvin Gordon, some guys who are not so, well known like J.D. McKissick, and so on and so forth, a range of ages, draft statuses, all that stuff. But of course, you guys know how I would handle it. If it was up to me, which of course it's not, but if it was up to me, I would re-sign Phillip Lindsay, Duke Johnson, and then get either Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, or Isaiah Spiller with the 50th overall pick in the round 2 of this upcoming draft. And I would feel pretty damn good about our running back room, especially if they do what I think they should do with the offensive line this offseason as well. So going to go ahead and wrap that up. Before I get out of here, make sure you check out the Rave On Sports App, the new fan-driven sports app for all of your sports, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, college, whatever you like. They got it, and they are looking to enhance your game day experience with live play-by-play coverage, live chats with other fans and content creators like myself, while also providing you with an arena to dispute the terrible officiating. So make sure you look for the links to that in the description box. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at DillonTartaro, as well as on Instagram at Dolphins_with_Dillon. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Phins up.
7 seconds left. Tannehill will throw it. And this will end it after the shuttle. Or will it? Miami runs around. Circling. Over down. Gronkowski. Did not be able to go. Touchdown. Daniels Ray. Oh, miracle. Miraculous in Miami. Stills to Parker to Drake. And they held off the unimaginable what has taken place here in South Florida. The Dolphins have done it. They keep their season alive. 69 yards. Wow. Pure joy. Miami wins it.